Hey, welcome to the second course video for the song Days Lie Dormant from 21 Pilots and their album Breach. I'm musically malnourished, and you're on my journey to go deep and wide in discovering new music and artists. In these videos, we do a deep dive into the lyrics and meaning behind the music, so let's get in, see what this song's all about. All right, here's what Genius has to say. Days Lie Dormant is the 11th song off the album Breach. The song appears to be another chapter of Tyler's love songs to his wife Jenna. Tyler's been married to Jenna since 2015 and has written many songs about her and their relationship. Every album since Blurry Face has contained a song directed toward her. Days Lie Dormant once again pushes how lonely and desperate Tyler is for his wife. It appears to have been written of the perspective of Tyler on tour while talking to Jenna at home. Tyler expounds upon his desire to be home with his wife and how, without her, he feels lifeless. The song contains a punkier sound than previous songs written for her, and then some information. So, I think that my mind, even in the react and upon further listens of this song, does feel like that's kind of what it leans to. I think the language they used in the about is probably a little bit intense, like it makes Tyler sound like this little hurt puppy versus just a longing. I mean, once you have a family, there's so much that's like fun about going and having these experiences and things like that, but at the same time there is this longing, especially if things are like healthy at home, this longing to be with the ones that you love the most, you know, because especially when you have kids, the thought that there are moments you might miss out on. I know for me as a father, like I'm a very involved father. One of the things I've fought for the most, especially in the last several years of my life, you know, since having my own business and things like that, is freedom. You know, I like to be free to take my kids to school in the morning, to be at all of their sports things, and then be available to them in the evenings to spend time with them, to have dinners together at our table. And so even as involved as I am, I hate the thought of like missing out on certain things, because there's sometimes I can't be at some things, and that kind of tears at you on the inside. And the other side of that is not just the bigger events in their life, but just being around, being present with them, and building that relationship that's not just about like he was at my games. And I know, like I've talked to men, because everybody has different situations. Sometimes that's just not the reality. You know, whether you have family that's in the military, or I have friends that are firefighters, so they're, 24 hours off, 48 hours, or 24 hours on, 48 hours off. But even then, the schedules are a little weird. People that work night shift. There are so many circumstances where people aren't able to be as available, but the time that they do have available to the ones they love, they make the most of it. And so I've talked to men whose fathers had to work very, very hard, but worked just as hard when they weren't at work, making sure there was quality time and connection. Because I think, again, that's the bigger thing is, yes, the events matter, but I want to know my children, right? I want to know what they like and what they don't like. I want to know what they're thinking. I want to know them as people, because you can grow up in the same household but not know one another. And so even the idea of being on tour and stuff like that is like that feeling that you're missing things. And so we'll go into this song not necessarily coming completely strong from the idea of what Genius set out. That's kind of the conclusion I came to myself in listening to it, but we'll approach it kind of with an open mind. And again, even in all of that, I just feel like the language used in that Genius about is just a little bit intense. And I'm not saying that there's not intense feelings, but specifically like Um, lonely and desperate Tyler is for his wife, and that can be used in not like this. I don't know. The word desperate for me, and I'm somebody that loves my wife intensely, loves my children intensely. And so you could use that language. I don't know. It more so for me just feels like this longing, this desire to be, and then this without her he feels lifeless. So I don't have a problem with the strong language. It just feels a little over dramatized to me. But at the same time, in intense moments of feeling distant, there could just be this like, man, life just doesn't life without you type thing. But let's get into it. You say I should chase it. I'll never say no. Too narrow and too tight. Somewhere you can't follow. These lines, like the chorus begins to make a little more sense to me. But you say I should chase it. I'll never say no. Too narrow and too tight, somewhere you can't follow. I guess in the sense of pursuing the music, like chase the opportunities. And somebody, especially if it's a wife, a wife can just be the wind in a husband's sails, like on a ship. That, man, when I feel like my wife is behind me in something, like she's very supportive of what I'm doing here on YouTube, when you feel that, dude, it's just like you could charge the world. On the other side, if she was like, I think this is kind of a bad idea, like, what if you did this instead? Like that would begin to really mess with me. Now, my wife is thankfully a very supportive and loving and helpful and wise individual. So if she were to say something like that, I would take it seriously and be like, okay, well, let's talk about it. Like, what are the options, or why do you feel this way, or whatever. But especially if it's something that I really want to pursue, if she has second guesses or questions that, it creates this inner turmoil in you. But if she says, chase it, dude, like, enough said, I'm going for it. And so the idea of if she's saying you should go for it, then he's never going to say no. But then it also feels like it's too narrow and too tight, somewhere she can't follow, that she can't necessarily go with him. She doesn't have as much flexibility as she used to or before they had children. So let's see what this says. This line appears to be referring to music, Tyler's extreme creativity. Jenna's voice was used in a single Saturday. Yeah, I thought about that, where a conversation between the two is interpolated in the song. You working on music? Yeah. I'll just go to bed. I'm tired. Well, I want to watch Friends with you. Well, if you feel like you have time to do a song or you're inspired, you should just go for it. The interlude shows Jen is extremely encouraging of Tyler and his creativity. She has posted in 2018 about his creativity. Whatever I will say cannot paint a true picture of what I've seen this past year from Tyler. He's been extreme all the whilst he's shown diligence, modesty, and swag. Man, yeah, Tyler does have some swag, man. Tyler has worked every night to get back to you guys as soon as he could. Watching him create has fueled me. I felt overwhelmed for him even though I knew he'd finish big. Friends, he just loves it. An album, a show, a story, all from his pretty brain. That's sweet. I cannot tell you how many meetings we were late to because he's in his studio completely lost in the music. This video is a small portion of Tyler and Josh showing you what's to come. Can you believe we went to Iceland to shoot Jumpsuit? Tyler loves music. He's been creating music since 2007. He's become an extremely successful musician. However, Tyler points to how hard it is to make it in the music industry and how Jenna cannot join him in the process. This could be referring to his times of creativity, speaking to how he needs to work alone or for results. Or it could be referencing how the band can't take on a third member, much of the band's charm coming from two members. He probably is referring to the family duties Jen is tasked with since the birth of their three children, Rosie, Junie, and Tommy. So, you say with your face something else altogether. And this could just simply mean it's not like in a negative way she's being two-faced. But of course, like, if you love someone, you want all of their attention, all of their time. There are many times, like trying to stay caught up on the channel here, that once I put the kids to bed, I caffeinate, I have some coffee, and I come down here and I record. Now, my wife and I's dynamic, we've never really been into like watching shows together. We just enjoy being in the same room, even if we're kind of doing our own things. So of course she'd love me like up there, sitting in the bed, just my presence. But at the same time, she's so supportive, like, yeah, go for it. Yeah, do that thing. Now at the same time, I'm saying at the same time a lot. So at the same time, she's not afraid to say like, hey, I think maybe you're giving a little bit too much time, or I kind of need your attention in this area. So it could be that idea of like, yes, chase it, the same way that it was referencing the music video or the song from Saturday, that she's saying, hey, I'm going to go to bed. And he's like, well, hold on, I'll come hang out with you. And she's like, well, I mean, if you feel inspired, like if you're in the zone, like do that. And it's not a double speak, like whatever, just go do that. It is I'm supporting you. I'm saying like, I know this is something you need to do, not just like you need to complete a project, but it fuels you. So go do that. Even though her face might say, I want you here. I want you with me. So I feel like that's really more so what's being said. And then we get into the chorus. My days lie dormant because I just can't afford it to waste time in a city where no one knows your name. And this your is interesting. My days lie dormant because I just can't afford it to waste my time inside a place you're not. Don't make me waste my love. It's everything I've got. So we'll see what it says. I guess at first listen and at first glance, and I think I shared this in the React as well, it speaks to me about this, like, whether it's in his home studio, but then the wasting time in a city does sound like travel. And he's in a city where no one knows her name. Like the focus isn't on her. And his life is about her and his children. And it's like he doesn't really care to do anything or be places they're not. Like it's a feeling of just wasting his love because he wants to pour his love on her and on his children. And so let's also just look up dormant, because dormant to me, I just think of like unmoving, sitting, but let's get a proper definition. So dormant, with an animal, having normal physical functions suspended or slowed down for a period of time, in or as if in a deep sleep, temporarily inactive or inoperative. So if my days lie inactive, I just thought about him not really. It sounded a little bit like didn't feel like venturing out into a city or having these experiences apart from your family. My wife and I talk all the time. You know, we enjoy going to Disney. We didn't grow up going to Disney. We had an opportunity to go a few years ago, and then we just kind of made it a goal of ours that we really wanted our kids, you know, to have that experience growing up. And it's one of our favorite trips every single year, man. We make the most of it, and just we have like things that we always do together, and it's one of the highlights of our year. We try to get to the beach and to Disney each and every year. And so my wife and I have talked about like, or I'll throw out, what if we like made a quick weekend trip, just you and me? And she's like, I think that'd be fun, but I also think that everything we do, I'd feel like, oh man, the kids would love this. And that can exist in an unhealthy space. Like you don't really like spending time alone together. So, but that's not the reality. Like we have a great time together, but we enjoy our family dynamics so much, I think one of Jordan Peterson's, love him or hate him, there's a lot of wisdom that he shared. And one thing that he said was like, basically raise kids that you want to be around. And that's something that we've taken to heart. And so we do. I mean, kids are kids, right? And adults are adults. And I often say adults really aren't much more different than kids. We just get told no less often. And that's the hard part about being a parent, right? Choosing when to say yes and when to say no. So of course, like kids will be kids. It's not all sunshine and rainbows, but we truly enjoy our children's company. And so the idea of being in a place without them, it would feel like days lying dormant. Like I don't really want to go spend my love anywhere else. I don't really want to go spend my time and my affection and my energy. Like I want to spend that wherever you are. So I don't know. That's kind of where my mind goes with all of that. I guess let's see what this says. The Cambridge Dictionary defines lying dormant as not active or growing now, but having the ability to become active in the future. Tyler pens how his days are full of inactivity while being away from his wife while on tour. He gives reasons, pointing to why his days are empty without her, pointing out how the places he's at don't know who she is. While 21 Pilots is a large band with millions of fans worldwide, in any given city in the world, it can be reasonably assumed the majority of people in the city don't know of Tyler, let alone his wife. He further goes on calling his time spent at places a waste if she isn't with him. Tyler's not shy about his love for his wife, with every album having a song dedicated to her, all having been aimed at Jenna and their relationship. It's easy to see how much Jenna means to Tyler and how their relationship is everything that they have. His decision to use the word dormant points to the idea that his days will become full and alive when they are reunited once the tour ends. This song may be also pointing to the band's future, since they announced their plans to limit touring following the release of Breach. What is this? Okay, this is from Tyler in August of 2025. Hey, 3 things. First, I'm so pumped for you guys to hear this record. Breach took everything I had left, but as I stare at these finished wave files, I realize how little they mean until they get to you. Fans of this band have given me so much fulfillment and purpose. Thank you for that. Second, I want to clear up what is happening as we approach the album release on September 12th. Our second single, whatever that means anymore, comes out Monday. It's called Drum Show. And all I'll say is that Josh might be doing more than just drumming on it. Proud of that guy. The music video for Drum Show, which Mark Crush, drops with it, but is not a part of the story of Dima and Clancy and Torchbearer. The end of that story takes place in the music video for the album's opening track, City Walls, and comes out with the album on September 12th. I can honestly say I'm just as excited for you to see this freaking video as I am for you to hear the whole album. But then the story is over. Breach is, and then there's a track list. Side note, that last song is really important to me and is my attempt at understanding the ending of the City Walls video. Okay, third, we have a US tour coming up this fall, which is going to be pure magic, and I cannot wait. But then after that, I'm not sure. Oh, that hurts my heart, because I haven't had a chance to see him. I'm not saying it's our last tour ever. I'm just saying, other than maybe some festivals next year, it will be the first time in our career we won't know when we will tour again. Sucks that we aren't giving Breach a proper world tour, and I'm sorry to our fans outside of the States. Get jacked, though, friends. Drum show, song, video on Monday. New U.S. tour in the fall. New album September 12th with a new video that wraps up over a decade-long story that has meant so much to us. Guys, it's going to be awesome. Thanks for doing this thing with us. Wow, I kind of want to shed a tear. Oh, I will patiently wait for my opportunity. All right, you say, don't worry about me though. It looks so much warmer there, and I should try Topo Chico and get some more sun. I wonder if this is referencing the Mexico City, because that's what the film is based on as well. It's written in Midwest Indigo. Obviously, we know it's cold where they live in Ohio. While the timeline is uncertain, Tyler was on the Clancy tour throughout the end of 2024 through 2025 during the winter months. During these frigid months, the tour had Tyler in South America and Mexico. The temperates are much warmer than in Ohio. Jen is trying to give Tyler encouragement while he's away from her, pointing to the pleasant weather. This may also tie into Tyler's potential seasonal depression, where he has spoken about how difficult the cold weather can be on his mental state. In being in a warmer climate, Jenna is aware his mental struggles should improve due to the fairer weather and sunshine. Obviously, Topo Chico, Coca-Cola own brand of carbonated mineral water. All right, we don't have to learn the... well, maybe we will just learn about Topo Chico for a second. It's bottled Topo Chico Spring in Monterrey, Mexico. The water was created based on a legend known as the Topo Chico legend. The legend goes that in the 1400s, an Aztec princess became ill. Desperate to heal his daughter, the king turned to wise men who spoke of legends of hidden water in the mountains. The water was said to cure and refresh those who drank and bathed in the waters. The king traveled with his daughter to the mountains, whereupon bathing in the waters, she was healed. The water is bottled from the same stream that the princess is said to have bathed in those many centuries ago. Here, Jenna perhaps is pointing to the legend that Tyler can enjoy Topo Chico for its refreshing taste, as well as feel rejuvenated due to the water's origins. Listen, we cannot discount that Tyler may know this about Topo Chico. His ability to understand and have double layers and have layers in his lyrics, that's really cool, actually. And obviously we know the sun, man. There are so many like actual benefits to the sun. Some vitamin D. Several scientific studies point to sunshine helping with depression. Tyler himself has previously mentioned having seasonal depression. Many songs touch on depression, and he has hinted at it in many interviews. A big cause of depression is a lack of serotonin. Released in the retina, often triggered by sunlight, it's known as a feel-good neurotransmitter. The hormone contributes to feelings of well-being, joy, and satisfaction. It's one of the essential hormones to mental health. A low supply of it causes anxiety and depression. Sunlight is also a leading natural source of vitamin D, the absence of which can lead to fatigue and depression. Jenna, as Tyler's wife, is aware of his mental struggles, offering a practical way to improve his downcast moods while away from home. Yeah, she's trying to say, like, go enjoy it. And he's like, yeah, but I don't want to. Curiously, Tyler's touched on his desire for sunshine previously, such as in Clancy's song Midwest Indigo, where he sings, I want love and sunny days. I'm a bit too old to run away. So even tying into this idea, like she's saying, don't worry about me, but you say with your face something else altogether, that she also has a longing that he would be with her. But while she's not with him, she's trying to say, like, hey, come on, like, go do something fun. All right, the repeating chorus in the bridge. My days lie dormant, frozen and distorted. Yeah, this feeling of like life being frozen and a little like out of place, away from them. I feel that. Robbed of my momentum and suspended in the air. Okay. My days lie dormant, it's feeling less important to waste my time inside a place you're not. Which, you know, if what's stirring around in his heart is this idea, as he expressed in the letter, that I think we're going to pull back on the touring a little bit. And again, I think it's not them saying we don't want to or we won't. There probably is a little bit of that excitement of touring that's gone. I think it's more so just him being honest with the fans that they've had this way in which they've done things for so long that he's just trying to set expectations. So for them to step into a tour gives them the space to choose when they're going to do that, and that it's a measured decision, not just like, oh, it's what we always do. It's really them being able to say like, hey guys, we're not saying we're done, just want to set our expectations. And then behind the scenes, internally, they can decide like, hey, this feels like a good time or the right time or how long or where. And yeah, it's feeling less important. The other side of that too is, and then the repeated chorus. The other side of that too is I don't think that fans should take it personally. It's not Tyler saying I don't care about you. Hopefully there's the understanding that life just changes, and that's hard. You know, even me reading that letter, I'm like, I'm a new fan of 21 Pilots, so of course I'd love nothing more than to go see them. But I can't take on this entitled attitude that's like, oh, they owe me this, especially knowing what it's like to be a father. And he's got young kids, you know, my kids are a little bit older now. And I had to make a lot of hard decisions and let a lot of people down to prioritize my family. And I still do to this day, because you don't get another one of them. You don't get another chance with them. And, you know, pardon my French, to hell with the world at the cost of my children. You know, like, I'll have time for other friends and things. And I'm not saying I just write people off or I don't care about people, but compared to my children, listen, I will live my life friendless if I can have a wonderful relationship with my children as they grow older and they build their own families. Like, my grandkids will be my friends, okay? Like, that's where my mind and my heart and my goals are set, is I'm going to build something beautiful with my family. And in the same sense, I think it's Tyler just recognizing what's most important to him. And you could take it from the side as well, as that a lot of bands tour to promote their music, and the reality is 21 Pilots have done that, man. They have poured and poured and poured and built a wonderful fan base and a lot of momentum, but they've also been incredibly successful. So both of them could stop doing music forever and live, you know, and they'd be taken care of. There is that side of them that's never been just about commercial success. And so obviously they're going to want to create. Like, that is such a part of Tyler and of Josh. But I think that part of it is the idea is they don't necessarily have to do so much touring to get their music out in front of people. So it's less important in that way, but I think the bigger one is just, man, the importance of being with his family and cherishing those moments and knowing his children and being there for all of the big and small moments of life, and continuing to take care of his relationship with his wife, because those are the things that last. And how many of us, like, gosh, it'd be so sad, you know, to get 10, 15 years from now and Tyler's family has fallen apart, but his music career is doing really well. That'd be a hard thing. You know, we've seen that happen with big stars, like big sports stars. They build these crazy careers, but then their family life is just falling to pieces. And it's like kind of this bittersweet thing that it's like, I really I would rather him disappear from music for the rest of his life and his family be this just beautiful garden that he has poured his time and attention and care into. Of course, I don't wish that. I want more music from them, but viewing them not as a consumer, but as a person and a fellow dad and a fellow husband, I want nothing more than for his family to be everything to him. So, we've been all over the place in this one. Let me know your thoughts on this one, and we'll have a conversation in the comments. Thanks for being with me. Hope to see you in the next one, because we're eating good.